Hello everybody, it's me, Chance Phillick, and today I'm going to be reviewing Season 4, Episode 5 of Red vs. Blue. And I just want to say there will be spoilers, so if you've not seen the episode, please click the link in the description below, and that being said, let's get into the episode. So this episode starts off, and we see that Donut is basically still in the competition with the Skull and the Wrench, and the Sarge says that the Skull is in first place in this competition, and we still are waiting to see who wins. And then we get to the Blues base where we see that Church is talking to Gary, and they're seeing if there's any way that they can translate what the alien is saying, and seeing if there's any way they can understand it. And then we get to where Tucker, Caboose, and Tex are, and they are also trying to understand what the alien is trying to say. Church comes, and basically they're trying to figure out what they should call it and what its name is. And they're thinking that his name might be Honk Honk because that's what he basically keeps on saying to them. And they're trying to figure out if Blarg, which is also something that the alien is trying to say, is the word for yes. Then we get back to the Red space where Donut is considered the winner. He's second in command. And then we cut to Simmons, who is basically going through the forest with Sheila, and he sees the Blues base, and Sheila is saying how he should live there. And then we see that Simmons agrees to live in the Blue base, but Sheila starts to remember who the Blues were fighting, and basically that's where the episode ends. And overall, I thought this episode was just as good as the last one. There's some stuff that was interesting in this episode. I liked mostly how it ended the story arc with Sarge and how he finally figured out who was going to be second in command, because that storyline wasn't really that interesting. So the fact that it's finally done now is something that I'm happy about. Simmons living in the Blue space is definitely something that should be interesting. I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. Also, some of the stuff with the alien was also a little bit interesting. I was glad to see that they were finally getting some stuff done with the alien, and we were finally able to maybe get his name and stuff like that. It was interesting up to that point, but still the episode as a whole wasn't really that entertaining to me. The first half of the episode started to move really slow, and when it finally got to the end half, some stuff was interesting, but it just, again, in terms of entertainment, it wasn't that great. And if this was just an episode that was meant to be, for comedic purposes, I'd understand it. But as far as the episode goes, really it was just about to see who was going to replace second in command, which in the end wasn't really that interesting of a story arc to begin with. And then, finally, we see some stuff happen with the alien, but not that much. Gained its name, it was okay enough. The jokes weren't really landing that much. And, then we finally get Simmons and the Blue space, which I said was alright interesting, but again, it just as a whole, it didn't really work that much. That being said, I enjoyed it more than some other episodes this season. I thought that this episode was able to get some stuff done that seriously needed to get done. And it was also, there were some jokes that worked. Overall, I didn't really find it that funny, though. But, I'm still interested, and I'll say this, I'm always interested, especially after I upload a review, to see the next episode, mostly because, like I said before, I think Red vs. Blue is kind of meant to be kind of binge-watched, if anything, but, interviewing it episode by episode is kind of an interesting way of doing it, so that's why I'm basically doing it this way. But that being said, I don't think anyone can, really watch this episode and absolutely hate it, because, again, you get the next episode, but just in terms of, an episode-to-episode basis, I thought this episode wasn't as good as it could have been, so I'm going to give it 2.75 out of 5, and that being said, I will see you guys later, and okay.